The scars of the past have reopened here. At a construction site right in the center of town, the Belarusian army has dug up human bones, jewelry, and shoes. These are the remains of people who lived here, murdered by the Nazis nearly 80 years ago. The find has shaken historian Irina Lavrovskaya. She grew up in this area herself and wants to see the mass grave with her own eyes. An acquaintance of hers has a direct view of the site from her window.
The people who are lying here were killed because they were of a certain ethnicity. It was segregation. People were weeded out and divided into categories.
And Jews were more than just a category in Brest. Before World War II, they made up more than half the population here. But in 1941, the Nazis drove them into a ghetto in the city center. Now their remains are likely hidden beneath the surface everywhere. This isn't the first time that construction here has exposed such horrors. An estimated 34,000 Jews were killed in and around Brest. There's a memorial just one street over from the construction site. Irina was glad to see people have been leaving wreaths at the memorial.
Half of the city's population was killed within just a few days, shot. Every second person, can you imagine that?
The plan is to build luxury apartment buildings. 1 square meter sells for nearly twice the average market price in Brest. The construction company plans to make the area a gated community. The city authorities say the foundations of the building won't touch the mass grave, and it will be marked with a memorial plaque.
A well-tended area in the center is what the city needs. It's the right thing for this spot. There used to be unsightly houses here when it should be tidy and beautiful.
But Irina thinks nothing here can be tidy and beautiful since the discovery of the mass grave. A special battalion of the Belarusian army has been in charge of the excavations. They've found the remains of over 1,000 people, men, women, and children.
Our task is not to overlook any of the remains. That is important for our battalion and for the people of Belarus.
The site is currently closed to the public, including to local historian Irina Lavrovskaya. She's considered a member of the opposition in Belarus, long known as Europe's last dictatorship. 20 years ago, her critical views and constant questions got her pushed out of a university teaching job. But that hasn't prevented her from petitioning to stop the building work on this spot. Irina says there should be a memorial park here, not an apartment complex. She wants her country to face its past.
People shouldn't be allowed to live on the spot of a mass execution. That pain continues to exist and will not give us peace until we learn to respect history and what happened here.
The Jewish community in Brest is getting together for Shabbat. They've rented a few rooms in a backstreet basement. There hasn't been a synagogue here since Soviet times. The head of the community, Regina Simonenko, has taken it upon herself to set up a small museum about the city's Jewish history, including the Holocaust. Simonenko wants the newly found Jewish victims to be reburied at a cemetery, and she wants their memory to be honored. An obligation she thinks lies squarely with the city.
The Jewish community doesn't owe the city anything. This mass grave is everyone's responsibility. The Jews who were shot here were prisoners in the ghetto. But they were also citizens of Brest. Plain and simple. No matter what ethnicity they were residents of the city. People who helped build this city.
Irina agrees. For her book about the history of Brest, she maps out Jewish areas of the city that no longer exist. The debate about the remains has deeply affected her.
I see all these historical layers, the different eras as a whole. It's just like with a person. If you don't heal a disease completely, the symptoms will come back. It's the same thing in a society.
But Irina's petition doesn't seem to have had much of an effect. Her acquaintance, Alina, says that building work has continued here consistently, despite the find. It's almost as if the decision to build luxury apartments instead of healing old wounds was made long ago.